Which, by the way, obligatory mention that I have a new emote, Hattalk Rant. Anyone who either redeems some tokens or this emote is based in cringe at the same time. That's the intent. Yeah, so if you're a tier 1 subscriber or if you redeem it via some shark tokens, which you can access at the bottom of the chat, you gain them just by watching, so it's not that hard. Yeah, then you can access this emote. This powerful emote. This blessed curse.
Hey, you okay?
Hey!
Those follow notifications are still getting me. Waka is Jamaican Bender, correct. There are times where you can really hear it. Oh yeah, the transitions to FMV are really slick in this game, but I really miss how ambitious the PlayStation 1 ones were, where they would have FMVs with the characters moving on top of it. Because this is the point where they just started going, let's just have CG cutscenes. We don't need to bother to be ambitious with it and have stuff overlapping too much. Like I mentioned, I beat Final Fantasy IX recently, again, and the ending is such an unnecessarily massive flex. It's about 1:30 of an FMV cutscene while the main character, Zidane, is running along this FMV, interacting with it. There's a point where they freeze in flow motion and do a matrix spin with the in-game model overlaying onto the FMV. Like, it's so ambitious and so unnecessary, but Square Enix at that time just really wanted to flex on everyone. Xemnas is dying super hard. He's been owned so many times because of all these gift subs I've gotten. So thanks again.
Yo. Hiya.
Yeah. Marvin, you're in danger. Can you hear the Kingdom Hearts warning siren in your head? Because you should.
Finally. Things were starting to look up.
Yeah. Jean DiMaggio does have very similar voices. Like, it's a really distinct voice, and he's also just a really good one.
You know, amateur. Who you play for?
The Xanarkanaves.
What team you say again?
I just completely lost my train of thought. I have no idea what I said in the last hour.
I got too close to sin, and my head's all foggy like. So I don't know where this place is, or even where I came from.
Since toxic
You'll let him deliver the killing blow?
but you're still alive.
I mean,
Praise be to you.
there's more. You can damage the health bar in more ways.
All right, back to practice. I'm Waka, coach and captain of the
You got
Bisayas
honed?
Bucks, brother.
Well, that's what you get. Everyone knows streams are supposed to be background noise,
Okay,
not
back
something you
to the
actively
village. I'll
engage
get you
with.
something.
I felt like I could trust this Waka, so I just had to ask.
But yeah, you can damage the health bar with
Now,
following and I assume
it's
some
true
other stuff. I don't
Xanarkand was
know.
destroyed, right? 1,000 years ago? So it's just a big pile of rubble now, isn't it?
Long time
I can't
ago,
imagine
there
paying
were
my
a
full
whole
attention
lot
to a
of
stream.
cities
I've
in
never done it.
Spira. big cities with machina, machines to run them. People played all day and let the machina do the work. And then, well, take a look.
So now we're getting into
Sin
the
came
first
and
theme of
destroyed
Final
the
Fantasy
machina
X,
cities.
which is that
And Xana came
technology
along with them.
bad and it create
That
fish
was about
monster.
1,000 years ago, just like you said. If you ask me,
I don't know
sins
if
are
it works.
punishment for letting things get out
I
of
feel
hand.
like at most
Gets
it
me
would
though.
cause a just disastrous
We gotta
overlap
suffer 'cause
of
what
the
some
first few
footballs did
seconds
way
of
back
fist
when.
bump
Of course,
from
we must
Sonic
always
Forces to
repent for our
play.
sins. That's important. It's
But I think
just
it also
that
doesn't do that much
it's hard to
damage.
keep at it sometimes,
But I don't
you
know.
It was
When I
just as Riku said.
went into the settings, I
Waka
think I
and Riku
just
couldn't both
cranked
be
everything up
lying.
to maximum.
Why would they?
But you from the Xanac and Daves, that was a good one, huh? Hey, I'm not saying the team never existed, yeah? But you gotta figure, a team living in luxury like that be pretty soft, eh?
I appreciated the fact that Waka was trying to cheer me up. But at that time, all I could think about was everything that happened to me. All this started with Sin. Maybe if I could find Sin one more time, I could go home. For now, I just lived life until that time came. No more worrying about where or when I was. Sure, it was hard not to think of home, but I started to feel better already. A little better. Maybe.
You know, actually, speaking of John DiMaggio, though, General Taylor is another person, real life human being who gets typecast a lot because he can do his Tidus voice for a lot of characters, like he does Johnny Test, he does Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank, but he has range. Like he also voices Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars TV series. Like he can do a lot of other stuff, and that's the thing is that a lot of voice actors end up with that situation where they can do a lot,
Hey, it's this way.
but they get asked to do one specific thing. You can never stop hearing Obi-Wan. You should hear his voice. Ewan McGregor has a very sweet timbre to his voice.
What's the big idea?
Yeah, Laura Bailey is definitely someone you hear doing the same things a lot. Yeah, like, well, I mean, there's the usual suspects too, because there's, you know, obviously Nolan North and Troy Baker and all that. There's, Tara Strong, who does Riku in this game. To a somewhat lesser extent, Ali Hillis, who voices Lightning in 13. It always bothered me that these treasure chests are just floating. They're not properly attached to the ground. Like, I don't know, it bothers me. Because this is an area you can't come back to. It's really strange. Because if you try and go back here, your character just U-turns. There's no explanation, you just can't go back. And it's such a thing that in 10.2, you still just U-turn. There's no reason for it. Jesus Christ, Meme Cycle, chill. Need to finish. Now Jack Joe is the boss. So I guess because they were the one who got the subscribe. So you basically gifted the title of Stream Boss to them. New boss, new boss. Yes. Everyone bow before the new boss. I mean, whenever there's a boss of something, really they're basically a god. You know what you're supposed to do when you play a JRPG and there's a god. You have to fight it. Anyways, I hope that quite a few of you, like about, what would it be, 3? Yeah, like 8 of you, you all have this emote now, so I hope you enjoy it and use it for evil. If you pay me $1, I will fight God. That's true. That's about all it takes. If you need more money than that to fight God, then you're not trying hard enough. So now just imagine what you can do by giving me $5, which is then split between me and Jeff Bezos. Imagine how many gods I would fight for that. If you use this to harass Bree, it will have come full circle, because the whole reason this exists is because of her. The emote comes from art that she commissioned from Zorofab. In fact, you might end up instigating an arms race, which is always very lucrative for Zorofab. Even though there's nothing really useful in the chests, I feel obligated to find them all, because you can never come back here. Is that? No, it's just a rock. Not the best camera angle. That does sound like something that Bree would do. It's cool you got to have your idea used, though. It's always fun to experience. As much as people will say that they enjoy my art when I do stuff, I honestly get a huge kick out of seeing other better artists take my designs and ideas and take them further. One of my pals, Onyx, for his birthday, I drew his fursona, I should say, his shark sona, in a jacket, because I like designing jackets. And he recently commissioned someone in that same jacket, and I don't know, it feels really cool. It's kind of like a collab, but with no actual collaboration.
Let me go.
Got a favor to ask you.
Walka is very
You want me on
handsy
your
for this
team,
person he just
right?
met. I've noticed that some of the cutscenes are strange. Like, some of the ways that Tidus acts are like so bizarre.
It's so huge. I'm sure
It's my
someone
art
there
baby
will
grown up,
recognize
correct?
you. Then you can go back to your old team, right?
Because it is pretty much exactly that. It's something that's
What do you say,
nice and
huh?
personal,
Come on,
but then
come
someone
on.
takes it and like level it up.
Sure thing.
It grows up into a nice, strong baby.
Dude, our team is gonna rock, eh?
I wonder if I'll be able to beat the
I thought
Blitzball
then the
tournament
Blitzball and Sin were the only two
live on
things
stream,
that Spira
'cause
and Xanarkand had
It takes
in
a
common.
bit. You gotta have a bit of finesse. And I am
I
streaming,
wasn't too far
which is
off
a
either.
constant debuff. I don't have a ref sheet.
This is where I was
I've always
born.
thought about
I
making one,
started
but I'm
Blitz
just
when I was 5.
not good at that.
I joined the Aurochs at 13, 10 years ago. 10 years.
Like, someone once
Never
asked
won a game.
how much it would cost
Well,
for a ref sheet. They never
after
got
last
back to
year's
me, but
tournament,
I don't even know what I
wait.
would have done.
Time seemed right. So, after quitting, I got this new job, yeah? But every time my mind wandered, I thought about the game.
10 years without a single win will do that.
My first match last year was my big chance. But something else was on my mind. I couldn't focus.
Nice excuse.
Hey!
So, you want to win the next tournament? Go out with a bang. So, what's our goal?
I don't care how we do. As long as we play our best. If we give it our all, I can walk away happy.
That's loser talk, welcome.
No. If I say, what's our goal? You say, victory! When you play in a blitzball tournament, you play
Tidus
to
is
win.
a really different kind of protagonist for not even a JRPG, just video games in general. I don't think I've ever really seen another character like this. He has a bit of crossover with the Dawn, where he's like kind of flirty and like hits on girls and stuff, but
Be on guard.
he's
There are
not
fiends on the
as
road
good
today.
at it.
After surviving your run-in with Sin, it would be a shame if something happened now.
Who are they?
Like Zidane is smooth to some level.
Crusaders.
Huh? Crews of what?
What, you forgot that too? Hey, sorry. Don't worry about it. I'll help you out.
Cool.
Yeah, Tidus is a
Well,
big dork who
tournament
happens to be good
time,
at
I'll make sure
sports,
we
and
take
he's
a
only
cup.
good at sports really because he had to
About the
prove
Crusaders,
that
you can
how
ask
much he
them
hates his
themselves.
dad and how much
They got a
better he
lodge in the
is.
village.
I'll be honest, Marvin, I can't visualize these things you're creating. They sound like unholy abominations. If possible, maybe post them on Twitter, because I...
Besaid village.
They got any food there?
We'll get you something over there later. Take a look around first.
Yeah, Ryan, that is basically...
Let's see.
That's the summary
Crusaders'
of
lodge
10.
is over yonder. Luzu and Gata are usually there.
Inject is a piece of shit. Like, he's been
Alright.
memed into being like this cool epic guy, especially
Over
because
Huh? What's up?
bad old cringe YouTube
Remember the
era
player, right?
really got people onto the hate
I
train
didn't
for
know it in the
Tidus,
first place,
so it
to
became
tell the truth.
justified. But no, he is a
Man,
piece of
that's
shit.
like the basics of the basics. Alright, I'll show
But
you.
he's still cool. He doesn't wear a shirt. Although honestly, I think Dissidia made him cooler.
Go ahead, you try.
Like he has actual moves. He does his, like he's an actual human being when he fights. Lots of advantages. Checked as your favorite piece of shit. Fair.
Hey, not bad. Okay, now go present yourself to the temple summoner.
Any blitzball player would know that prayer. It was the blitzball sign for victory.
See, like this is a really intriguing thing that I don't think has a very interesting payoff. Where it's like you find out that this sports symbol for like, oh yeah, we're gonna win, it is like this like this world's major religious symbol. Like, I don't know, like it's really interesting in my opinion, but the payoff isn't really anything special. Shirts are cringe? Agreed, so true. Have you ever seen a non-cringe person wearing a shirt? Wait, did I say that right? Whatever. A big reason why shirts are cringe is because what you're really supposed to be doing is wearing cool jackets. That's my philosophy. The spirit was there. Thank you.
It was then, standing in that place. I began to realize how different this world was from my own.
Yeah, just looking at this shot, I think a big thing that makes 10 stand out so much is the colors. Like, there's so many bright colors, and then also, like, the way the lighting's handled, and
10 years have passed since
yeah,
Lord
just
Roscoe became
no, I think
High
it is mostly the colors though.
And
I'm looking at those
finally, we
flags in the
receive a
background that
statue
have
for
those
our
really
temple.
bright. Like, look at the flag right there; it's red and green.
Oh, what's a high
Like, that's not a common color combination unless you want to make like a really high contrast something or other. And like Tease is wearing his yellow shirt and all that. Like,
toxin.
it just got such a flavor to it. It's like Starburst, the candy.
It was funny hearing myself make the same
Tease's
excuse
outfit is like
over
12
and over.
colors. Yeah,
Funny.
we got
and a
red,
little
blue,
sad.
like
The
blackish,
summoners are
really
practitioners
dark
of
blue.
sacred
Actually,
art,
I use the eyedropper tool to
sworn
make the
to
artwork.
protect the
That's in the
people
bottom
of
corner. So it's a dark blue that
Only
looks
a chosen
blackish.
few become summoners.
And then there's the white.
Who call forth
What else has he
entities
got?
of
There's some
great
silver
power,
with his
the Aeons.
like chains and stuff.
The Aeons hear our prayers and come down to us. They are the blessing of Yevon.
So what he meant
I think that's it though.
was
That's
that
still like
we should
6.
respect
Oh
some
wait,
kind
what's
of
that thing on
great
his back?
men or
Is that
something
orange?
like that, I figured.
And does his skin count as orange? He is very tanned. Not as tanned as he was in the PlayStation 2 version, but still fairly tanned. So yeah, this is what really got me thinking about the pre-rendered background, because this looks so nice. Like, this upscaled beautifully. And I really wish they would make another Final Fantasy game with pre-rendered backgrounds, because they could make something that looks so spectacular. But I guess the thing is that now with next gen, they can get stuff that's pretty close to CG quality. So they don't really need to do that. I just want them to try. It's nice having relatively reasonable loading times. I'm so used to the PlayStation 3 version with its nightmare loading times. They really have, the last 2 gens I think have been pretty rough, honestly. Because like, some people on my timeline were talking about how they want a PlayStation 5 just so they can have a good PlayStation 4. And it's like, yeah. And the PlayStation 4 was nice because it had PlayStation 3 stuff that worked properly. When do guns come in? Eventually. But Blonde Dante, I don't know who you're talking about. Is that a cat? Cat is big. Yeah, there's no real Virgil-like type character, no rivals to speak of.
Hey,
Blood
you.
Cat?
You were attacked by Sin, right? Recently, was it?
I think so.
So, Sin can't be far, right? You're not hiding anything, are you?
Why would I?
If Sin's nearby,
So they say
it'll
that
attack
Sin
the
can't be
island,
far,
sure,
but
but it has.
I'm pretty sure based on the world map where Tidus was originally
I'm sorry.
is on the
I
other
really
side of
don't
the
know
globe.
anything. To tell
I'm
the
not sure how
truth,
he ended
I,
up here.
Don't even know what the Crusaders are.
You're kidding.
Well, Yuna
right?
actually gets 2 guns in 10-2.
Toxin. Gotta tell him who we are.
Yes, sir. The Crusaders are sworn to battle Sin. We have chapters throughout Spira, accepting all who wish to join our struggle. The hero Mihen formed the Crusaders 800 years ago as the Crimson Blades. Later, our ranks grew and we
She
called
becomes
ourselves the
Bayonetta? Yeah,
Crusaders.
basically.
We've been fighting Sin ever since.
What? You've been fighting 800 years?
You can't play
still
10-2?
haven't
That's
beat
a
it?
shame. It's a great game, it's just maliciously
Well, we've
evil.
steered Sin away from towns many times, and that's all we can do. Nobody's
No
ever been
Sin,
able to
bonk.
defeat it. Our mission as Crusaders is to protect the temples, towns, villages, and people of Spira.
So, then whose job is it to defeat Sin?
Is Sin's toxin
Unless I'm forgetting
really this
anything.
bad, sir?
10 is definitely the most explicitly
Just tell
anti-religion
But I
Final
think it
Fantasy
better for
game.
you to try and remember.
Like,
Go pray at the
you
temple.
do beat up the
Perhaps
Pope in
the other will help
13.
you regain your
What
memory.
else is there? Well, 12 is complex. What else is there? What other popes do you beat up in Final Fantasy? 15 is actually the opposite. It's like a pro-religion game. The whole like morality of
Soon,
Final Fantasy
we may be
15 is
able
very
to
bizarre.
Finally defeat Sin. We've got a plan, one that'll go down in Crusader
Oh yeah, I
history.
do know. Having not played 14, I do know the meme
been
someone
excommunicated
posted where
from
it's
heaven.
like,
We must go now. Everything is
how did
riding
it
on
go?
our
It was
necks.
like,
Our last
uh,
battle.
dragons are cool, yeah. The church sucks, yeah. The church sucks because we can't fuck dragons, or something like that. I really shouldn't be doing these optional scenes, just I feel obligated to do them, but I should be rushing along to get to the point where I can actually do my challenge run.
Sorry, man. No time for lunch yet. Take a nap.
Yeah, and like look at the level of detail in this background here. Like, really, like you don't get stuff this packed even now. Even though the fidelity is obviously long. Wow, I'm getting really tongue-tied. The fidelity is obviously long since there. To do all this stuff, it's just kind of like, well, why bother? Why put this much detail into this one random background? Is it your dream room? I'd prefer have a
Could at
door,
least go
honestly.
see how they are doing.
We can't interfere. It's a rule.
But it's been nearly. But
I think being busy is what makes rooms cozy sometimes, because it gives it that lived-in kind of feel.
Perhaps you could go look for us.
People are searching for him now.
Like, I don't have like
Thank you.
the spare change or the drive to really do it, but I love the aesthetic of like people's like basements full of random like posters and knickknacks and all kinds of stuff that really gives it a sense of personality.
Do you
A lot of the time my stuff's very sterile because I just don't have anything driving me to go further, but I do love the look. Oh, you know, I just realized I'm pretty far into the stream and I never actually bothered to ask, how's the audio? Yeah, Kingdom Hearts had Baby Tidus, Waka, and Selphie. Selphie being from Final Fantasy VIII, so kind of the odd one out. I feel like the Selphie was meant to be a different character though, and got swapped out. There's some other stuff like that, like Aerith from Final Fantasy VII is in Kingdom Hearts, but instead she was meant to be, oh shoot, I forget her name. The protagonist of Parasite Eve. She was supposed to be in that role instead, which is nuts. Oh yeah, Riku, right. Yeah, it was going to be Riku, which makes more sense than Selphie, but it does create the problem of there being a Riku and a Riku. Couldn't get Baby Yuna because she's too busy being a gremlin in Kingdom Hearts 2. That's like the Final Fantasy X universe within Kingdom Hearts is so messed up because they've got weird gremlin Yuna, Baby Tidus, but then just the real Auron. Like
Is something wrong?
the actual Auron from
Someone
Final
hasn't
Fantasy
returned
X.
from the trial.
Ayabrea, right? That's the protagonist of Parasite Eve.
Apprentice summoner, really.
Yeah, the Tentu fairies are
Was
so
the cloister
weird.
of tribes.
I don't know what they were
Beyond is where the
doing
apprentice
with
summoner
that.
prays.
Like, obviously it was there to
Prayer is
advertise
heard,
Tentu, but it
the
was
apprentice
so
becomes a
weird.
fully fledged summoner.
I like how
So someone is in there somewhere
in
and they haven't come
10-2,
back out. Right, I got
there's like this weird, not
day's
very
already
good
gone
joke where
it. Is it particularly
Yuna says like, "Oh,
dangerous in there?
poopy," and someone says, "Oh, Yuna, watch your language." But they couldn't even do that in Kingdom Hearts 2 because I guess it's just
There's already
not
guardians in
child friendly enough. So she says,
Besides,
"Oh,
it's forbidden."
foofy."
Hey, but what if something happens? What
Square
if
Enix
the
is
summoner
weird.
dies?
Our precepts must be obeyed.
Like I care.
Kingdom Hearts 4 brings back Yuna, but she's normal now and goes full Bayonetta. So besides
Maybe
having
this
two
wasn't
guns,
such a
she's
good
not
idea
really like
after all.
Bayonetta. She doesn't have hair attacks. Oh yeah. Cloisters. This one's easy enough to do, but I'm definitely going to use a guide to make sure I do these properly. Because, honestly, something I've been thinking about lately, since I've played Final Fantasy IX as well, is that Final Fantasy puzzles are barely puzzles. Because like, they don't have any level of conveyance, usually. It's usually just you press a thing and it's like, oh, you did it right. Or, oh, you did it wrong. Yeah, I don't need a guide for this one. It's very basic. But later on, yeah, it's just like, it's not remotely intuitive. It's like, so many Nintendo games, they do the basic thing of, here is the gimmick, here is a basic safe space to use it. It's like being back in school. Wait, why is it like being back in school? Yeah, the typical thing to do with when a gimmick in a game is you introduce it in a safe space, and then you get them to do it in increasingly more advanced situations. But the thing is that a lot of times developers can't really accomplish that, and you end up with weird, unintuitive stuff where they introduce stuff too fast or whatever. And in this case, there is no consistency in what a sphere does. You put it in a slot, and who knows what'll happen. I don't think a single slot in this entire mini dungeon does the same thing. Yeah, also some of these symbols can be touched, and that does stuff like, it's just not good, honestly. This is a really cool room though. I love stuff like this. I love the idea of like visible power supplies going through walls. Like, as bad as these dungeons are, they're great for the flavor of the world at large. They're so like cool and distinct. They're just not very well designed. Wait, wrong way. So yeah, all of these cloisters, they have a destruction sphere that lets you get a treasure. And the treasures are good, but what really matters is that when you open the treasure, it'll release a seal, which lets you get a summon later on. And you need to get all of them. Oh, speaking of summons, name cycle. Did you ever actually claim your name for the for what we're gonna name the Aeon? Because it's coming up. And if you don't think of something, then it's just gonna be your name. I mean, it would be really cool if it was a seal, like the animal seal. That would be pretty rad. But
Only summoners, apprentice summoners, and their guardians can enter here.
you can't always have seals.
It's a tradition. Very
It is
important.
kind of... It's messed up, actually,
So
now I think
what
about it.
about
This
you?
game is so water-themed, and there are no seals.
I'm a guardian.
That's not right. There are dolphins, but there's no
A
seals.
guardian?
Name it Shadow? Okay.
Summoners go on a pilgrimage.
And don't
to
worry,
pray at every
Shadow
temple
will
in
be
Spira.
played. There are 2 Shadow the
Guardians
Hedgehog
protect them.
playthroughs in the backlog.
The guardian's in there now.
Although honestly,
One of them's got
I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it this stream. I'm feeling kind of worn out. The heat's not been great today.
Now that we come this far, might as well go all the way.
What are you doing here? Didn't think we'd be able to handle it.
No, it's just. See, I told you she gets mad easy.
Man, Lulu's outfit's insane. Everyone focuses on the belt, but it's insane everywhere. Look at the back.
Is the summoner all right?
Who are you?
Hey, Kimari is not a cat boy. He's a cat man. Alright, and there's Yuna. She'll be our main physical attacker for this game. Monk Yuna with a killer quarterstaff? Exactly. She doesn't look like she got enough sleep last night.
Become a summoner.
Well, that's actually exactly what happened. She's been praying for at least a full day. So she hasn't slept.
Man, was I surprised. And here I was thinking summoners were all
Who's the best,
geezers.
Yuna? I feel like there is debate about the best girl in Final Fantasy X, but it's nowhere near as intense as like Final Fantasy VII. And going by averages, it seems like Lulu's the winner, even though she's not much of a character in my opinion. But honestly, to be brutally honest, I don't really think that 10 has a very exciting debate to be had about best girl. I don't think that Riku, Yuna, or Lulu are
Wait till you see
amazing.
this.
I can't see anything.
Ready?
Best character, not just best girl? Yeah, that's more fair.
Okay.
Alright, we're about to meet the creature that's going to be known as Shadow. You have a few seconds if you want to change your mind based on how it actually looks, Neem Cycle. Otherwise, it's going to become Shadow. I don't think there's enough space for Shadow the Hedgehog. We'll see how far we can go. I'm not sure what the character limit is, but it's not huge.
I had never seen anything like it in my life. Sure, it was a little scary, but still, I could feel a strange kind of gentleness coming from it.
Another Aeon in this stream? Probably not. I'm probably going to be calling it in, not
night,
right away,
We
but
talked for the first time.
I'm not going to go that much further
I
tonight.
didn't know
I'm
it
feeling kind of
then,
worn out and my
but
throat's
after
kind of
that
bothering me.
night, everything changed. For everyone. For me.
Wait, so it's a 6-day cooldown for everyone? Ah, I thought I figured out something that would work. I'll just turn off all that and go by the honor system, I guess.
Let me introduce you to the team. This guy here wants into the tournament so bad, I let him on the team. His memory's a little fuzzy, so don't mind him if he says anything odd. Come on, say hi.
Hi guys. So what's our goal?
To do our best!
All right. There are no
we got
more
a new
limits
goal now.
on the name and Aeon
Our new
thing,
goal
but we're just going on the honor
victory.
system here.
To win every match, defeat every opposing team.
A 1-day cooldown would be
Bring the
fine, but
Crystal
what I
Cup
meant
back
was
to
it
our
for it to
island.
be a
That's all we need to
cooldown
do to
per
win.
person,
Easy, huh?
so that, because I'm not worried about having a backlog of people naming Aeons, I'm worried about the same person doing it over and over again. So we're just going to go by the honor system. If you've done it once, you can't do it again. Also, hello, Louis ABD. If you claim one, don't worry. The Twitch keeps track of all that, so we can deal with it whenever. It's not a big deal. Like even if for some reason there were enough people claimed it to name every single Aeon in the game, yeah, there you go. So yeah, you can choose your name for Ifrit whenever you feel like
But
it.
it was really my fault to begin with. I'm Yuna. Thank you so much for your help earlier.
Huh? I'm sorry about that. Wasn't that...
Yeah, Yuna especially
Wasn't I
has
not
very
supposed to-
strange delivery, and it
Guess I
seems somewhat
kinda
intentional, but
overreacted.
somewhat not.
Oh no, I was
Like she's supposed to be kind of like shy and awkward and like a shrine maiden type character, and just very
I saw that
formal and all
Aeon
that.
thing.
But she also
That's
just
amazing.
says some stuff in very
Really?
like
Do you think
I don't know how to
become
describe it. It's
someday?
like the actress just didn't have quite all the context for the scene.
Come play with me some more.
So, tomorrow then.
Tomorrow?
It's also kind of
We're
jarring
going on the
because I've
same
been playing
boat, aren't we?
10-2, and her
really?
voice is so different, like
We
direction, I
can
should say.
talk
She's
more.
because obviously it's post character development. She's a very different character by then. But it's
You
just weird
can
going all the way back now
tell
to the
me all
very
about
start.
Xanarkand.
She's cute, yeah? Then we're cool.
Hey, but what if she, like, comes on to me?
That's not going
What
to
if
happen.
she like comes on to me?
If you get tired,
I
let
think
me know.
that's the only
I had a
time
bed made for
that
you.
something like that has ever been said in a Final Fantasy game.
Stay away from the summoner.
Well, yeah, these guys rarely get voiced, but when they do, they sound Canadian. Just keep that in mind for
Ready
later.
for bed. Good. Sleep tight.
Oh yeah, this scene. This is such a,
Where's that
like,
boat?
I've seen this scene so many times now, because I've
Everyone
beaten
will
this
find
game
us
probably 4 or
if it
5
doesn't come
times.
soon.
And this scene is
You
just
really
so
sure this is
weird.
okay?
Would you take me to Xanarkand?
Like, this is, okay, this part's not weird, but it gets so weird. Like,
You said you'd go with me.
like Tia's animation here, and then
Hey,
it just goes places.
I thought Waka told you not to get any ideas.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, so you're coming with me.
Hey, stop dreaming! You with a woman? You can't even catch a ball! Oh, what's the matter? Gonna cry again? Cry. That's the only thing you're good for.
Oh yeah. So this actually, this version of Final Fantasy X has an updated model for
You
Jet
have to speak
here.
loudly.
Because they didn't bother to update it in the PlayStation 3 version, and it looks really bad.
Hate you.
Like, his armor is welded to his shoulder in the original model. But they bothered to give him a new model this time. It's weird they didn't, because he's such an important character.
I hate you!
He's dead, okay? Dead. He does look a lot like Chapu. I was surprised too, the first time I saw him.
This is weird, because, okay, so Chapu is Waka's brother. And they make a big thing about how Tidus looks so much like Chapu. And the smart thing to do there would be to not show him, but they do show what Chapu looks like, and he doesn't look like Tidus at all.
Yeah, but
That's it. No more. Enough, Waka.
Like, he looks much closer to Waka than Tidus. And Waka doesn't look much like Tidus.
Scary. So, who's Chapu?
my little brother, Chapu. He looked like you.
He's dead?
He was with the Crusaders when they fought Sin last year. He didn't make it. I first heard on the day of the tournament.
Oh, so that's why.
I became a guardian to fight Sin, yeah?
Revenge, then?
That was the idea. I'm more worried about a stupid game now than avenging my brother. Well, after the next tournament, I'll be a guardian full time. I know it kinda looks like I'm using you, but I'm not.
Don't worry. I mean, I owe you a lot. You really helped me out, you know? What I mean is... Thanks, Waka.
Stop. You're embarrassing me.
Man, Waka sure is a nice guy. Would be a shame if it turned out he was virulently racist. Oh yeah, another cool thing about having pre-rendered backgrounds. Actually, is this pre-rendered? For once I can't tell. But a missing thing from newer Final Fantasies is these cool camera angles. I miss that. Would be a shame if he followed Ants on the Wise's Twitter. It would be. There are some people where if you see they're following certain
Hey,
Twitter accounts,
sleepyhead.
you
Something I
know
want to give you.
there's some trouble.
Whoa! You're giving this to me?
Yeah, use it well.
That's the sword you gave Chapu.
Well, he never used it. Where's Yuna?
It's weird how
We're taking the same
Brotherhood
boat as
becomes
Yuna, right?
Tidus'
Why
iconic
do we gotta
sword,
wait here?
and it has so
Yuna
little to
came
do
to
with
this
him.
village 10 years ago, when the last calm started.
The calm?
Since then, she's been like a little sister to me and Lulu. But she had the talent.
God, we're just
She became an
barely
apprentice.
approaching the point where I can start
Now,
leveling up
today,
characters.
She lives as a summoner.
This
Whew.
is our journey.
It's gonna take
We
a
should
bit
leave
to get to the
together.
point where their stats start to actually be meaningfully different. But I'm hoping this will be interesting and not just end limply as a disaster halfway through.
They're not really my
The stupid
things.
dress is killing you? Which
They're
one?
gifts
Lulu's?
for the temples we're to visit.
This isn't a vacation. You know.
Fun fact about Lulu's
guess-
dress is that it was one
I
of
guess you're right.
Tetsuya Nomura's infamous challenges. He made it specifically to test the limits of
Okay,
the
off we
animation
go.
team, and they weren't very happy about it apparently. And that there's a lot of scenes where you don't see most of Lulu's body because they hated animating her. There's similar things like Squall in Final Fantasy VIII has a parka with the fur trim around it, and that's one of the things
Here comes
where
one now.
Nomura really wanted them to like
Hey,
push
why
the
don't you
limits
try out that
with
sword I
the
gave you?
like fluff texture of the fur.
No problem.
Not too shabby. You kept up with him pretty well. Might make a good guardian someday. A flyer. My kind of customer.
Whew, I feel bad. My energy is draining quickly, but I want to get through this part at least
Looks like trouble.
before I call it quits.
Ha! Watch this.
But there is some stuff I can say. Not quite yet, but there's a little thing I didn't
Only
realize
magic can
they
beat that thing.
had accounted for
If you
with this
can't beat 'em
tutorial.
down, you gotta use magic of an element they don't like.
Magic? Element?
Yeah.
Let's have our
Right
prop
here
man
with this tutorial
show you
bit.
what I mean. Lou, you're up.
Clueless, aren't you?
Because they actually let you screw up on the tutorial. Please don't destroy myself. I shouldn't be destroying myself, but my throat is a bit scraggly, which is a shame.
I get fire and ice, but what about lightning and water?
Lightning and
It's
water
also
are
just
opposed,
a
just
bit
like
warmer
fire
than
and
it
ice.
should be, I feel.
This one here is a
I don't know
water
why.
field,
There's
which
just no
means-
breeze today, I guess. But yeah. You're supposed to use thunder, but they actually give you the freedom to choose, and they account for that.
That was a bad example. This one's a water field, so fire and ice are.
I love when they have extra dialogue for
Enough
stuff
with
like
the
this.
lesson, Lou. Let's get this over with, yeah?
You can use water on it too.
Whoa, hey, what are you healing that thing for?
This is the sort of thing that can happen if you pick the wrong element.
Yeah, they just own it. So, there's a kind of a Simon Says element to Final Fantasy X's combat, because enemies all have a specific, well, minor enemies all have a specific weakness. If you have high speed, you would go after like the wolf enemies. If you have high accuracy, you go after the flying enemies and stuff like that. And it kind of, I think it's kind of limited, and like people talk about how great the combat is in this game, and it's not unfounded because there's very good boss
Take your
fights.
time.
But there's a lot of Simon Says go by the numbers type stuff. There's, yeah, this thing is weak to fire, use fire on it. This thing is weak
Let's
to
get
being
going,
stabbed,
man.
so you should stab
I'm
it.
gonna wait.
Huh?
Are you ready?
And yeah, they didn't need to have that dialogue, but they did, and that's what's cool. There's quite a few bits of
What's
incidental
going
dialogue that
on?
you can miss. Like a little bit later on, if you attack someone using Yuna, like if you're attacking a monster,
It's an ancient custom.
she'll do like
People
no
leaving the
damage.
island pray
And if
here
Lulu's
for a
in the
safe
party,
trip.
then she'll say,
Chapu,
leave
pray
this
that
to
day.
us. Like
Say
she'll
it's
like
a
leave
boat.
this to the professional guardians or something like that. Like this game has all kinds of stuff like that. Because they really wanted to show off that this is a game that has characters with voices.
That should do it.
Remembering bits of the story from your memories repressed from 1,000 years ago? Are you a character from this video game? Are you from Xanarkand?
This isn't the way to the pier.
Oh, there's dialogue. At some point,
This isn't the
they
way
get
to-
rid of this and you just do this U-turn with no explanation. They don't want you going back there for some reason. You must break the game somehow. You watch an acquaintance of yours play it sometime and go, hey! The cycle of time repeats itself. So I noticed that in the span of like 5 seconds, this cutscene with Kimari plays every single stock, like, beast sound effect. Like, every single one. There's like the lion sound effects and all those different roars and stuff. That one. Like, they must have used like 8 different stock sound effects there. And I'm not even 100% sure why, because Kimari doesn't make any of those noises normally. Oh yeah, so every single overdrive has a gimmick, and your performance in that gimmick will determine the damage. Most of them comes down to there's a certain amount of time, and the faster you do it, the better damage multiplier you get.
That's enough.
Because like with Tidus's, there's a bar in the middle, and you have to press the button right when it's in the middle. And the higher level is overdrive, the faster it goes, so it's harder to land.
What's with that
And
guy?
you have a certain amount of time to do it,
Kimari Ronso.
and
The
if
Ronso
you
tribe.
like you can completely screw it up and you'll do less damage, but
That's
the
not
absolute
what I
best
meant.
is to do it the very first
another
time,
Yuna's
because you do the
guardian.
most damage that way.
Huh?
Sometimes we don't understand him either. Kamari doesn't talk much anyway.
I mean, I'll try not to be
He has
scum, but I
protected
don't
me
know.
since I was a
Who knows
child.
what the future will bring. I'm too wholesome? I don't know about that. Oh, wow. Weapon. Nice. The sensor. Now I can see enemy weaknesses and health. Thank you for calling me wholesome. I'm not very good at receiving compliments.
A flyer. That's your department, right?
True, but, why don't we let our summoner show us what she's made of?
Who is? I don't know, some people.
Your first real battle. Let's see some style.
Hey, wait a second.
Show us what your training has taught you, Yuna.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Did I skip over naming... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't name Valafor Shadow. How did that happen? Was I on autopilot? Shoot! Well, luckily I've made like 15 different saves already, so I can fix this off screen. You want a refund on your shark tokens? I'm sorry, they're non-refundable. This fight's really silly because it has a ton of health and you can't do that much damage, but the Sonic Wings ability delays its turn, so you can basically just attack indefinitely. Still a better currency than crypto? True. Although, in my humble opinion, shark tokens are the best currency that's ever been created in human history and vastly outweighs any United States dollar or a euro or a pound or a Canadian dollar or anything like that. But that's just my opinion. Is Yuna a stand user? No, she's a summoner. Summoning is a common job type in Final Fantasy. It's been around since 3. But some of the games put a higher emphasis on it. Like, this game is very heavily focused on Yuna, so it's very summon focused. Final Fantasy IV also has a prominent summoner. Probably one of the coolest, more unique ones is 13, where every character has one summon that's attached to them, like they have a symbol on them, and if they like release a crystal from it, it summons this cool robot version of the summons that can like turn into a vehicle. It almost feels like it's made to sell toys now that I say it out loud. In 5 years, we'll see how that works out. Shark tokens becoming the default currency of the world. But I think it could happen. In Final Fantasy 13, they're just Persona users. It kind of works, yeah, because in Final Fantasy 13, they're called Eidolons in that one, and your Eidolon gets released through trauma. Like, usually when a character is like really like at a low point in their life, then the Eidolon gets summoned, and then if they can. Okay, it's a bit complicated to explain everything, but the cool thing about 13 is that you have to like subjugate the Eidolon, and that you do like gimmick battles against them where you have to do stuff related to that character. Like if a character, like let's say a character doesn't like another character, in order for them, like something that will help them win over their Eidolon is they have to protect them. That kind of thing. It's very cool, but kind of complicated to explain in short. Alright, gotta make sure I use every character so they all get an EXP. Use your evoker, Yuna. So there isn't much downside to using summons, except if they run out of HP, you can't use them again for a while. So I mentioned a bit ago that there's the minor enemies, but there's also big enemies like this that don't really have any weakness, and at that point it just becomes a matter of trying to deal as much damage as possible. Something nice about 10 is that they actually do put a lot of work into making status elements actually useful. A lot of RPGs really struggle to make it so that you can actually use your status ailments and it be effective. But Waka is all about status ailments, so you have to, like, they have to be useful because it's his entire thing. So you can use Dark to make it so that enemies miss, and it'll actually work. And poison in this game, if an enemy is weak to poison, it is devastating because it does a % of their health and damage each turn. Oh, another weapon, wow. I don't usually get weapon drops this early. Oh, and I forgot, I have a much better weapon anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, and also, yeah, for some reason Waka doesn't start with armor. Everyone else does, but not him. Not that it matters because there's no weapon stats in this game, so the armor doesn't do anything. This is like pure Simon Says right here. Man, those bonks are gonna do so much damage by the end of the game. So another thing that's gonna come up is that there's probably no reason for me to bother getting the Celestial weapons, which are the best weapons, well, the ultimate weapons in the game, because they're all based around the character's default rules too. So they're not gonna do a whole lot. Like, Yuna's ultimate weapon makes her magic more powerful, and makes it so that magic only costs 1 MP to use. That's useless if she's gonna have Tidus's moveset, so it might not be worth it to even bother trying to get those. Yuna doesn't need a Warhammer. She has her staff, and it's gonna do so much damage eventually.
Let us Guardians handle the likes.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so if you don't want to get interrupted, you have to get Lulu out of the party.
Yeah.
Make way!
Leave that one to Lou.
Oh yeah, so Lulu will interrupt Yuna, and Waka will interrupt Tidus.
Now what?
Actually, that reminds me. Let me see if I can trigger this one. Ah, didn't do anything. I got a dialogue line that I never heard by getting Lulu to attack one time, but it didn't work out that time, I guess. Oh well.
This is gonna take a while.
Never seen that one either.
Step aside. Need a good jolt?
The next stream boss might be Young Zane or it's slapped on top of Xemnas, but I want to be careful adding too many assets to the stream overlay because it might start causing lag. All right. We're 2 hours in, and the game is getting pretty close to starting. Now, let me see who is streaming right now. I can raid them. And you should show them the cool new emotes that have been graciously unlocked, mostly by Nemecycle, but, 1 second, I'm sorry, I forget. Moonwatcher, I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm just so bad with names, I'm sorry. But Moonwatcher and Nemecycle have ensured that many of you have a cool new emote to use. So, let's see who is online so I can then raid them. Oh, no one I know. The only person that I follow who is on streaming right now is Pat Stares At, who is a big streamer, so I don't know if raiding him's a good idea. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that. Yeah. Well, anyways. Oh, is Tyler streaming? Oh shoot, I don't think I follow them. Let me fix that.